Hello, and welcome back to Games My Guy podcast, the esports podcast by fans for fans. My name is Patrick Ake Avery Kenny, and joined by the lovely, ever talented Ethan Duck Goose Butler. What up, man?
Oh, just hanging out, thinking about games, being mad.
That's good.
The usual.
That's usually what happens when I start thinking about games for too long.
Yep. After a
It's
couple rough nights on the old ranked.
the old Overwatch ranked has not been kind to Ethan and I. It's been a bit of a couple of days, eh?
Yes, I. There was so much promise these recently. Like we heard wide-eyed enthusiasm maybe going in the other day, but after you drop about 100 SR per position, you start to really your mental takes a hit.
You start to question why you do it and why you think there's going to be a different result afterwards.
You start to think, am I good? Probably not.
have
But
I have I really been this bad the whole time?
was it luck that I got? Like
No.
we're not even that high,
No,
but
it
like
wasn't luck. It was all
it was
skill, and you start
still we're the
crying.
best.
Oh man.
Genji would just leave me alone. I'd be better.
Yeah, Genji. Oh man. Well, yeah, with that Genji buff, it's been pretty
Yeah.
pretty intense, especially when there's no hero pools. So
Hmm.
it's the wild wild west right now. But a
It
lot
is
of people
bonkers.
like it that way, it seems.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Genji mains are ecstatic, which is nice. I guess they've been a little sad, I guess, for a bit.
Yeah, same with
So
tracer mains. They
yeah,
also they
they're
also
having a
found a
grand time.
place.
Yeah, it's good. Good for them.
It's good stuff. This is what I
Yep,
was gonna
great.
say.
Have a great time. Us when you're playing Zen in the back. Yeah, have fun.
Yeah.
Hope you're having fun as you harass me.
But it's I don't know, it's interesting. It's an interesting time. But
Yeah, no,
with the
that's
Overwatch
yeah.
League, one of the biggest news that came out was the Zarya skin for Sinatraa, which
Indeed.
I mean, when I saw it, I was pretty hyped up. What have you thought about that skin?
I tell you, the community is so split. I'm on the side. I really like it. Okay, maybe the joke. It's not even a joke to bring up Men in Black because everyone said it. But
Yeah.
like, I like that part of it. I think the suit looks cool. The gun's awesome. The little tentacles and the eyes glowing. That's neat. It does make me think of Sinatra because he helped. He did help design it, and so I really like it. I'm probably gonna get it. I got the Jonat skin. I'm probably gonna get this one. I don't
Yeah.
play a lot of Zarya, but like when I do, I'd like to look cool. So that's nice.
Yeah, I it was weird because League of Legends does this for their championship teams as well. They'll give the whole team like a skin set for the characters that they play when they won the last game. So
Yeah.
if you're playing Master Yi in the last game, you get a skin for him, and it's supposed to be like a unified skin for the team. So like you know Faker has a skin, and all those other players do. Everyone from T1 has a skin, and I was curious to see if Overwatch League was gonna go the same way and making like a themed skin, like if it was gonna
Hmm.
be like, oh, it's Sinatra, but it's more about like San Francisco, or it's more about like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But it's very personalized to
Oh
Sinatra.
yeah, it's great, and I think it's better. It represents Sinatra, I think, better than the Shots Camp Championship skin. Championship skin. Oh my
Championship.
goodness, represented the Shock. Because when I saw the Shock skin, I remember thinking, oh, all right, that's a nice skin, I guess. But I don't like sure when it hits the ground, it's supposed to look like it says SF, but it doesn't to me. Again, I don't play a lot of Doomfist though, so like all these heroes aren't like, catered to me. Like obviously like, they should be. I don't I don't play a lot of the characters that apparently Sinatra plays, and so we don't have the same skill set, I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah,
So just the things I have to live with, but
yeah.
I still think they're pretty nice, very nice skins, and I think I appreciate that they are doing them.
I think it's a cool thing too. Honestly, like it gives a lot more incentive for people who are watching the Overwatch League to buy more content that's Overwatch related. So buying
Yeah.
skins, and like that's such an easy way to market it. But it's also so fun, man. Like as if you're like a fan of a team that wins and your favorite player gets their own skin, like that's a really fun way to experience Overwatch.
I know some people were mad. Yeah, Sinatra left to go play Valorant. Whatever. Like I was a little annoyed, but like then I really think about it. That
A
man was the
little
most
annoyed.
dominant. Okay, fine. I was very annoyed. I was upset. I didn't want him to leave, but he deserved it. Like, okay, like, he's the most dominant player in 2019. If it was a goats meta, Sinatraa was destroying on Zarya. Doomfist comes into meta. The only person who could remotely come close to Sinatraa was Hacksaw, and even then, Sinatraa pooed on him, left and right. Just there's
Just
no
took him
challenge in
down.
him.
Took him
He
down.
just hit him with the 1-2s, the old 1-2 punch.
You gotta
With
give it to
one
him
pin.
sometimes. The
Sometimes
one two.
you just gotta hit him. You
Yep.
know, we say that a lot.
Yep.
Sometimes you just gotta hit him,
It's
and
the
so he
easiest way
deserves
to
this skin.
victory.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
I mean,
I don't know,
it's definitely something I'm gonna be picking up. I also saw the gold version of the gun because it's
how's
right
it
now.
look?
It's
I
all
didn't see
right
it.
now. It's all like chrome and whatever. It's just like solid gold. It looks awesome. It looks really really cool. I also like the energy level like effects that are on the Zarya skin. They go
Mhm.
like weird like plasma y, so it's very like alien-y. But it's good, and I'm excited to see like it was cool to have like a weird one that Jonak had, and now we have this
Yeah,
like kind of fun futuristic alien one. So
yeah,
it's
more
cool. It's cool to see that the Overwatch League and Overwatch developers are trying to make this game as like diverse and reflect the players that are playing it.
because Jonad Stin really does is that's Jonad themes, the octopus, the NY cell on the excuse me on the like the belt thing he's
Yeah,
got going on, like his little sash.
his little sachet.
That's that's neat.
Mm-hmm.
And but this stand mate does feel like it's not really. It's got like the suit that type of energy he brought into the game. Like this suit makes you think the skin's great. I listen, the skin's great.
The skin's
I'm
great,
not saying you're wrong for disliking it, but a
but the
little bit.
skin's great.
Yeah, but it's great. So
Yeah,
get it.
it is a good one.
Even
Yeah.
though we're not sponsored, we're still shills and going like, get this skin, guys. It's so it's great.
It makes you play better.
Yeah, it does. Do you want to like build a grab in under a minute like Sinatraa? Play
Do
as
it like
aliens
him.
the tune.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
like the Air Jordans with Michael Jordan. Just you want to play like Mike? You want to play like Sinatraa? Skin.
Get the skin. Yeah, yeah.
I did
But
just finish watching The Last Dance, and so that's on my mind.
very, very good. Very, very good show.
Yes, but
But we did have a couple games happen this week.
we
One
did.
very, very important game that both Ethan and I were looking forward to. That would be the Toronto Defiant versus Vancouver Titans game, which is a rematch from the May Melee to get us into that tournament. And I'm super stoked to say that we won 3-0 against Vancouver. It felt right. I felt vindicated watching that game. I was just like, Logic's on Tracer, yup. Numlocked is doing really well, yup. Nevix is like the most amazing Sigma I've ever seen. This is all making sense to me. I was super pumped. I was super, super pumped to get that 3-0.
It was great. I remember when I saw it was only like recently too, so it's not like hard for me to remember this. But when the roster announcement came out for who was starting, I messaged Patrick and I was like, oh my god, just Surefour was in the lineup. I was just like, he's bad. He's not. He left us and he's bad. I was so happy to see Lane Roberts returning to the stage in quotes. But it was, and he played out not bad. He was all right. He was pretty good. He was doing Surefour things, held his own.
Yeah, he was pretty
It was great to see.
integral. He was pretty integral to the Orisa Sigma comp that they were running.
Yeah, his dynamites were good. Everything he was doing was pretty solid. That being said, the Titans didn't play. They had some errors, and they still they have so much to work out still.
Yeah,
I think there's some roster moves they could make that would really improve the team.
Yeah.
But look, if we'll talk a lot about how awesome Toronto was in this game, but fuck, Dalton and Shockwave slapped this game as well. Like those two are a crazy DPS duo. Like Shockwave is insane. And Dalton's popping off. It was I as someone who's also a Titans fan, I didn't want them to win this game. I don't understand. I feel bad because I love the Titans.
Yeah.
I would like to Defiant as well. So I wanted Defiant to win this because I felt they really needed it. And I just didn't want them to. It's like with Shanghai. I didn't want them to be the first win for this new Titans squad.
Yeah, the Shanghai and Boston game that
Oh, I
broke
was
your
there, man,
heart
and
but
it was
lifted
rough to
everyone
be in the
else.
arena there. History was made, but my heart was not happy. But that being said, Titans should get a win soon if Dalton can keep playing the way he is, and Shockwave taking over the Widow match versus Surefour. Like he dominated on the
Yeah,
Widow.
yeah,
Unfortunately, the rest of his team, other than Dalton and maybe TSA, wasn't like doing it.
yeah. Well, Dalton and Shockwave, they have a future in the Overwatch League. They're gonna go
Yeah,
somewhere. Whether they want to keep them, whether Vancouver Titans decides to build a team around them is not knowledge that we have, but we can tell from the games that we've seen that Shockwave and Dalton are here to stay in some capacity.
yes,
That team as a whole, it's difficult. It's difficult to say what they need to fix, just because it does feel very thrown together, and it does feel like a team that doesn't really know what its identity is yet.
yeah,
What I was excited about the game for was that for Toronto, it was a game where we need to have a 3-0. It was a game that we beat Vancouver in a 3-2. It didn't look good. It wasn't impressive at all. We get a rematch. This is our time to actually like show that we can beat these caliber of teams, and we can move our way up to the stronger opponents that we face, even coming in next week with Atlanta Reign, which is going to be the biggest game that we're going to have this entire season, I think. If we win the Atlanta Reign game, that opens up a lot of possibilities.
it's a big confidence booster as well. If they can beat,
Totally,
like,
totally.
because Atlanta is coming off. I don't know how. I think I watched the game, so I don't know how if it was like an embarrassing loss per se, but it was a little bit at times for the Reign. Like they should on paper be doing well, and people were like, "Oh, bring out Erster, bring out Erster. Where's Erster?" And it's a shame that he seems to be regulated to being like a maze specialist, which is stupid for Erster. Erster's super flexible. But even when they brought him out, it did nothing because Gladiators just destroyed. Like they had
Yeah,
LH Cloudy just going wild, doing random shit. Like, it didn't make sense at the time what Cloudy was doing, but it worked.
yeah. It was more about Atlanta Reign meeting the not meeting the not coming up to the what's the word I'm looking for? Shit.
Standards, maybe the
Standards? No.
the
Not rising to the occasion. That's what
yes,
it
there
is.
it is.
Yeah, yeah.
That's better.
So it was more about the Atlanta Reign just not rising to the occasion of the game that they were going to play. And LH Cloudy, all respect to that guy. He really showed up, and that team really showed up and did a number on them, which
They
is
did.
so good for Toronto, because if
Yeah, exactly.
Atlanta Reign had got a 3-0 there, I'd be quaking in my little boots for Toronto. I don't know if we win that game.
Yeah, I'm not the I would personally would not want to play against a confident Atlanta Reign team. They seem
Yeah.
like they usually are pretty confident. It seems outwardly at least, because like you got players like Dodman, Baby Bay, just the Chads, as we've previously said, the Overwatch League, Gator too,
Yeah.
Fried even. Is Fried's more of a quiet Chad, but he's just kind of like he's got his shirt tucked in, socks in his sandals, mustache. He's just he's just a Chad.
He's just
But
if you're a part of Atlanta Reign, you are automatically a Chad.
that's
That's
just
just
the
how it
identity
works.
they have. That's just who they are. So a confident Atlanta Reign team is scary. So that they're although a hungry for winning, hungry for wins Atlanta Reign team is also a little oh my goodness. But I think Toronto on paper and coming off now a 3-0 loss is win. It should be can win. Like Baby Bay is insane. Is actually a very strong hit stand. But I think Logix and or Surefour should be able to go toe to toe with Baby Bay on heroes like Ash and Widowmaker. Like a Logix with Baby Bay Widow duel, especially, would be kind of spicy to see.
Yeah.
If they
Logic
play the yeah,
Logic's on Widow. Like if they do a Widow v Widow battle, I think Logic's has the upper hand in that.
I would
Depending
like to think
on
so. Yeah,
Yeah, depending on the map. Like Logic's he plays a lot better. He's very much it feels like he plays a lot similar to Linkser, where it's very like reactionary and finding positions to like cover your main tanks as they're moving through, or like covering ground kind of a thing. Then again, he also just does pop shots on third point of Rialto, so like that's a thing.
Oh my god,
also.
I'm still thinking about that. Oh my goodness me, I watched that game a few times just for that moment,
Yeah,
and,
yeah,
and I see myself on streams, but like, because I'm vain.
yeah.
But
At
no, I
least you
think
admit
Logis.
it.
I may be vain and want to see myself on camera a lot, but I am aware of who I am. I know myself, and
That's
so
good.
I know what I'm about.
Yeah, that's
And
good.
so, but no, the Logis in a Widow v Widow duel, I think, is very strong. Like Linkser used to be used to be one of the best Widow duelists in the game. Like Linkser pooed on people when he was Widow dueling. And so I think Logis can do that. And so that's a matchup I'm very curious to see. I think either if they're playing a double his stand meta though, I think they have the edge. Yeah, because Edison is good on Tracer, but I honestly, if Logix is feeling it, I'm going to take Logix on this game.
Yeah.
So
It
that was Surefour on the Ash, but also Surefour is really really good. Like people shouldn't look down on Surefour ever. I don't think people do, and so that's something I'm curious to see. And the
yeah.
rest of the matchups though is curious because I think I love Dogman. I'm looking at his jersey right now, but I think Kriv should have the edge. Although like, Dogman has the potential to go toe to toe with players like Jonat and whatnot, and he has. But man, Kriv's he's so good. I love that boy. He's
He
such a sweet prince.
he is very very good, and he's been showing up in the last couple of games that they've been playing. It's looked really good.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing I was going to talk about is with like this whole week we've seen it's in a hero pool. It's inside of a meta that we're looking at, and Toronto with this Orisa Sigma shenanigans comp that we're running with like a Tracer and like a Baptiste and a Zen, like it's very it feels like Toronto just kind of found out how to play that type of game, that kind of like rush, split up, search for clues, Scooby-Doo kind of fights where the Tracer just goes around to the back line and the main tanks are coordinated enough between Nevix and Numlock to do the things to like push through chokes. And it just feels like they have a lot more opportunities. Like the DPS are finding way more opportunities to be more impactful.
It doesn't hurt that Cruz has shown to be pretty good BAP. Like, Cruz's BAP's pretty good.
Yeah.
And he's had some very strong timings with his immortality fields as well. He's very good. Like I actually in the we'll bring it back just briefly to I think versus the Titans.
Mm-hmm.
Titans almost won, and like I think they almost capped Anubis at one point when because Shockwave got in behind
Yeah.
and was just about to freeze Cruz, but like right at the moment before he froze Cruz managed to get down the immortality field, which allowed him to survive long enough for his team to start filtering and stalling a bit, and then they started getting pits, which allowed them to eventually win the map.
Yeah.
So that was a clutch play by Cruz on BAP. So Cruz is shown to be a pretty strong BAP. So if they're playing BAP Zen, I'm feeling pretty good about the odds with against Atlantic support line.
Yeah, and it feels like comfort picks, especially with the Zen on Kariv. It feels really really strong. But another game that we have to talk about, which is because Boston plays, we have to talk about it because it's Ethan's favorite team. I don't know why it's his favorite team, but it is.
They're the best. Okay, because they're gonna win. They're gonna win someday.
But we have, because Ethan insists, we have to talk about the Boston game. The Boston Paris game. Which
me and my 4 Boston jerseys would like to have a word with you to make you a Boston fan.
This game almost made me a Boston fan. I'm just going to say that right now.
I knew it would happen eventually. I've been saying this for months. I said, Patrick, we'll get you in the field. We'll get you in the uprising camp.
Not today.
Damn it.
This game was very, very close to making it for me because this was my favorite game of the week. Not because it wasn't the only non-3-0, 3-1 game that happened, but because it was the most roller coaster experience I've ever had. Boston looked good, looked amazing, and then they would suck. They would C9 on point two of
I know what you're talking about, and that was because Sparkle walled off fusions.
you walled off fusions,
I
but
don't know
you
what the other rest of the team was doing, but
they
everyone's
also
blaming it on fusions.
Boston. So fusions gets walled off, right? But we also have a tracer who could have
Listen,
gone and touched.
Colorheads was having a pint with the lads. All right,
It's
he's
true.
from New Zealand. That's just what they do.
It's
He was
true.
either a pint, cup of tea, maybe he was smoked in a pipe. I don't know. I'm just thinking about Lord of the Rings. But there has to be an excuse. Listen, yes, did Jerry throw Bob off the point? Yes. Did Colorheads not touch? Yes. Did some weird shit happen? Yes. But it was good.
There is a but. I will say, yes, it was a good game. It was like all intents and purposes, it was a very, very good game. Boston looked really, really good in mid game and like early game stuff, but when it came down to like crunch time things, it just didn't look. It wasn't there.
If they had Sparkle and Soon together, that was a bit more of a lethal combo. Then for some reason they also had Sparkle playing the May and Nito playing Doom, which is not Doom. Sorry. Well, he played Doom a bit, yeah, but Sparkle was playing May. Nito was playing like Reaper, Tracer, Doom. Heroes Nito's not overly well known for playing. Like Nito's not a Tracer player. He's not a bad Doom. He's improved a lot. But like if you have Sparkle, Sparkle is like one of the better Doomfists, and also Nito's one of his best heroes is May. Why was Nico not playing May if you have Nico in? Like
Yeah,
that's the only reason at this point. Not the only reason, maybe, but it's maybe for Echo too, depending on Sparkle's Echo. But like, why are you having Nito in there if he's not playing one of his best heroes? I don't get it.
I would agree on that
I
one.
mean, I'm not complaining because like Fusions was able to also halt them off the point and get the win in that map.
It's true.
So it was awesome, but like it was
Yeah,
so confusing.
there were bright moments. There was
Oh
a
yeah,
lot of bright moments for Boston. The once again in the mid game, like when Boston didn't need to use
you said we.
ultimates.
You said we.
No, no, no,
I
no,
knew
no,
it. I heard
no,
it.
no, no, no,
It's
no, no,
happening.
no, no,
It's
no, no,
happening.
no. I say no to that. But if Boston didn't need to use ultimates, like whenever they found themselves in the mid game, played it perfectly. Like everyone kind of knew what they had to do. Fusions is looking really, really comfortable on that Orisa, which is really important for this meta
He
that they're
hasn't
in.
in the past too, so that's nice to see. I remember anytime he played Arisa, I was like, yo, just let him play Ryan.
Yeah,
But now he's looking a lot more. I think his chemistry with Punt is much better than his chemistry he's had with any off tank since like no to RCK.
yeah, yeah. Punk has been surprising me for sure. Paris, I mean, FD God's on that team, so I mean,
We know.
they're
Listen,
gonna win.
they're gonna
But
bring it up. I know because you love him.
I do love him.
He's a good little boy. He just
Yeah,
got his jersey too. Finally, he's been
yeah.
wearing like Sparkle's jerseys for the whole season. So
he's
he's got an FD
finally
God jersey.
he's finally a member of the team.
Wait, I'm just trying to think though. Does that mean like fans? Some fans have an FD God jersey before FD God got an FD God jersey.
I've
Like,
never
could you
thought about
conceivably
that.
order that you could do a custom name jersey even if it wasn't available? So there's in all likelihood there's someone out there who has a FD God jersey before fucking FD God got his jersey.
Got his own jersey. That's funny. I like that.
But yeah,
Yeah.
but like no, like you said with Paris, yeah, FD does great, but Sparkle played really well. Like to be honest, like his Genji, like holy crap, like they made Genji work without the buffs, and it was unreal.
Yeah.
Not for as a Boston fan, but it was really nice to see. I love watching Genji. I just don't like playing against Genji, but he's those nano blades were insane. It was so scary.
Yeah, that was kind of the story of a lot of those maps. It was just who like them getting a Genji blade and then Boston finding a way to win, but then shooting themselves in the foot, which was too bad.
Yeah,
But I
they
mean, it
did
was
counter the one blade though in the final map. I was so happy. It
yeah.
took like three ultimates to kill him. So they had to flux into a molten core, and like I think they were doing something else as well. And so it was they had to do so much. But
Yeah.
hey, you have to find a way.
Win's a win, honestly. But yeah,
They did lose the next point, but it's fine.
a 3-2 going to Paris. That was all right. But the one game that I was really excited to watch was actually the NYXL versus Seoul Dynasty game.
Hmm.
That it was a 3-0 for New York XL, but Seoul looked so good when they weren't playing one comp. When they were playing the Winston Zarya comp,
Yeah.
it was like they were throwing the game because Jester would just jump in, die, get bubbled, die, and there was like no, they weren't building anything. None of the ultimates were coming up in time for Soul Dynasty. It just looked like a big mess. But on the last map, like in map 3, they decided to run the Orisa Sigma comp, which looked amazing. It looked really, really good.
But they still lost that map,
They
1 to
did.
nothing.
They did. NYXL came up way over Seoul Dynasty, and they looked very, very good. Same with Shanghai. The Shanghai and London
Oh yeah,
game, it
Shanghai.
was the same thing.
Seoul is such a weird team. They have, I don't know why. Like, you have an Octane player. How bad is Michelle that you're just not playing him? Like, you're having Marvel, who is a main tank, playing Diva, and he's looked okay sometimes, but that's just not his role. He's just straight up better than Jester on so many heroes that you're. Why are you not playing Marvel? On like when you want to play Ryan, you should play Marvel. Play Marvel. Jester's like okay. Ryan, he's like sometimes has some good moments, but even then, I don't know. I just like Marvel better than Jester.
Fair, fair. Like
Like,
Jester's
like
gotten a
Marvel
lot
straight
of
up stole the starting spot from Fisher at some point last year.
yeah.
So
Jester's been having a lot of questions around him, but I mean,
he's got a lot of swag as a human being, but like
he does have a
I
lot
think
of
that
swag,
he's got that rap skills, he's got
and
the drip,
that's something we can never take away from him. The amount of swag that he
and nor would I
has.
want to. I think
No,
that's it's a great part of the soul identity. It's just being kind of those like cool guys who just have the great clothes and like who are just like chains
yeah, it's
and
so stylish.
yeah, they're just great. But God damn it, soul. I don't know. You have players like Prophet. Let Prophet do things. Just go. Let
Yeah.
Prophet have fun.
Well, it wasn't long ago when Prophet was considered like the greatest Overwatch League player to ever live. Like people were saying he was super versatile and saying that he was this, DPS god that was coming out, and it's been a rough season for him.
Yeah. His Echo has not been. He's not a strong Echo right now. Could he get better? Obviously, if he
Mm-hmm.
grinds it out, I actually do have belief that Prophet could become a good Echo. He started out pretty rough with the Echo,
Yeah.
and so that's kind of hindered Soul and Echo comps. But I don't know, like if you have Prophet, play Prophet Tracer fits on Ash, and you should be able to do something
Yeah.
more than what you've done.
More than what
Like,
you weren't able to do.
like if you want a shot at the championship, you can't be losing 3-0 to New York. I'm not saying that because of New York's a bad team. I think New York's a good team, and they like adding Hatzel has given them a type of player they haven't had in my eyes since Pine, because I love Pine, and so I think that type of player who can take over a game is been missing.
It's true.
Like some players are great, like Nene's great, but like even last season it was more there wasn't that to me like that in that one guy you could turn to. In the playoffs they looked a lot better, I'll say that. Like they did really well in the playoffs until the Titans just eventually won.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think New York has a great shot now. The addition of Hatzel is great. Did they need him? It's a bit selfish to say. Like you've had how many Genji players do you have on that team now? You have like 3.
Yeah, they've doubled down. They tripled down, I guess. They've
Yeah.
tripled down on Genji players.
Who's a good Genji? Who are you? Who else is a good Genji? Hatsal. Yeah, that seems right. Who else is good? Libero. Like I do love the meme though that the New Yorkers just keeps trying to replace Libero, and it's just he just like sucks the talent from other players, and so that no one can actually replace him.
Yeah, he
Like they
just
tried to
he just
replace him
steals
with
it
Flower,
away.
didn't work. They tried to replace him with Who Are You, didn't work. Hatzel's here now. I don't know why you need have all these people. It's a great options, but like, what more does Libero have to do?
Yeah.
That poor boy. He's probably feeling real good about himself sometimes, and like, oh yeah, we signed Hatzel, and then Libero's just sitting there
What?
like, bruh, like I am here. I am good. I am a good player.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they're not going to play Liver or whatever. I'm just saying, like, if you have Hassel, I would play him initially.
I would agree with that too. The other thing to note, like Seoul has like lost a bunch of games, but you also have to remember with like the region lock, Seoul is playing very
Mm-hmm.
difficult teams
That's true.
all the
That's
time.
fair.
Like
That's fair.
there's no Washington Justice in their region. There's no Vancouver Titans in their region.
Yes.
It's a bunch of really it's the like top part of the Overwatch League is playing in this one region, and they're just the better teams are winning and the worst teams are getting 3-0'd. Whereas
Yeah.
you'll notice in like the North American region, you'll get like game 5 and like, oh, like wild stuff is happening. If Seoul was playing in the North American servers, they would not be a bad team.
No,
Not
I
at
don't
all.
think they'd be a top team though. I
Mm.
think if Seoul and NA would still get, I think I love saying pooed on, so I'm going to say it here.
Continue,
Seoul would
please.
get pooed on. Thank you.
Mm.
It would be a gross one. Seoul would get pooed on by Shock.
Mm-hmm.
I think Mayhem would poo on them.
Oh yeah.
I'd say Philly. Honestly, Valiant would probably do pretty well against Seoul as well. If it's a double hit stand meta, especially, I can like Profit Fit's great, but KSB and Shats have been absolutely monstrous. And McGravian Dreamer's a great main tag in this regard. He's such a goof. I love it. He just does things, and they're just so good. And so I think Valiant could also do very well against Seoul. There's just so many teams in NA that are like super hit or miss, but if they hit, could take down Seoul Dynasty, I think. But
Yeah.
that's the thing. Same thing with Seoul though. They're super hit or miss. So it depends what game. If you're getting Seoul on a good day, I don't know. They'd
I
probably
don't know
destroy
about
half the
you.
league.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's scary.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the Valiant, there is a game we have to talk about. The Valiant versus Washington Justice game. And
Feels so right.
you seem to have a few thoughts. What were
I
you
just
mulling over?
I love it.
You're
I
just a
was
Valiant fan. You're
I
just a
do enjoy
Valiant
them.
fan.
My number one team is Boston. Valiant's a team I cheer for as well. I know some people don't like me to cheer for multiple teams. I've limited myself to like a top five. I have a top five. I don't like. I have one team I cheer for above all others, but like there's other teams I like to see do well, and Valiant is one of those teams
Right.
because going into this season, people laughed at the Valiant. People said, "Oh, I'd love to see this team do the Open Division," ha 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 ha, and oh, they came out swinging, and they've only gotten better because they have a
Yeah.
great coach in Patton 10. They haven't yet. They're outside of him as well. They have a great surrounding coaching staff. Their players are their mindset is very positive, and they know they can do well. I think, and so against the Justice, like the Justice are going have a somehow it seems at times a worse season than last year, which is very confusing because Justice had a horrible season last year till stage 4, and that was mostly off the bat of like Corey, just and just Corey just setting records type of deal
Yeah.
on Hanko. That's
Yeah.
a main reason Justice did well. And
Yeah.
without Corey, without Stratus, they've lost a lot of their likability. So they bring in players like Stitch and Janu, who are very cute and likable. Like cute. Stitch is one of the cutest little players. He's not even young. He's just adorable. I think Stitch is possibly the most adorable player in the league. I love him.
He's a
But
cutie. He is a
he's
cutie.
just a little boy. Do you see like when his camera like in game, like it was just like the top of his head. It was like his headset. Everyone's like, Stitch, what are you doing?
Oh
But
my
so they
gosh.
have some good pieces maybe, but the Justice is just a gone show. Like I think they just promoted Supreme to head coach, and Supreme is one of the most wholesome dudes I've ever seen on Twitter. He's so great. So maybe he can help turn this team around. But Roar hasn't looked good. Janu is good, but he's also now trying to carry that tank line. Stitch is good, but he's never been like a standout player in the lead because the heroes he plays weren't viable really in 2019, and even this year with the Titans when they did play, he wasn't. He was like okay, and so their
Yeah.
DPS lineup is a bit underwhelming to me. I like Tuba a bit, but and like Aimdod's good, and Arc is like he's okay. He's not like great, but so the Justice are in the tough spot.
Yeah.
So the Valiant just took advantage of that in every sense of the word. It was rough, man, to watch if you're a Justice fan. Like most of those maps, like Shats and TSP, did not let the Justice play Overwatch. They were like, "You want to play? Chat said, but I'm not sure. I think his accent like Danish, so like, he's like Denmark. I don't know what the accent is, but he'd be like no,
Good.
and
Oh,
so
very good
that
accent.
I think that's Danish. No,
Very good. You nailed it.
I am clearly a man of the world, but
Yeah, but you
so
like you were saying it.
yeah.
The Stratus and Corey were integral to the win conditions of that team, and now you just have a bunch of pieces that were really good on this team that had Corey and Stratus, but now that that team doesn't have Corey and Stratus, they're struggling to find how they play with these new players, and
So it's
it's
a
been rough.
mindset thing too,
Yeah, a
because
hundred
like
percent.
Tori and Straz were two of the most positive players in the entire league.
Mm-hmm.
Like last year, no matter how bad they were losing, they were still shown to be having a good time, keeping spirits up, and that was so important for a team that's going through rough stuff. And I'm assuming there's some players on the team now like who are trying to do that as well, but just man, like Tori, that is a big blow to that team. Then losing the coaching situation, general manager, like essentially a full rebuild mid-season like from not even just on the team but front office as well. And so there's a lot to deal with for Justice. And my heart goes out to them because
Yeah,
I like the players on the team. I don't like. Could they have built a better team? They did. Like going full Korean is also something people say is a bit. Will it work out? Maybe it worked out for the Mayhem. It's for me interested to see if it works out for the Justice. Hopefully it does because I think Korean contenders obviously is like the best region, and so there's so much talent there they could pull from.
totally,
but
totally.
but like it's hard to do that right now with the coronavirus situation that you can't bring all the players together a lot of the time. They've been good at that. They got Stitch and Janu to Washington fast, but
That was really important,
their
and
visas probably were easier to deal with because they had its pre-existing
yeah,
ones.
yeah. It'll be interesting to see where Washington goes. I think Washington and Vancouver are traveling on a very similar path where
Mm-hmm.
but it's not just the players that are the issue, it's the organization that's kind of
Yes,
just slew-footed the whole team. So
but Justice like yeah,
it'll be
Justice
interesting
like
to see
yeah.
where they go. It'll be interesting. I will also be very interested to see the next time Vancouver and Washington play because it'll be the next Butter Bowl or whatever we call it.
I think if I don't like to use it because it was used this guy Boston Houston
Mm-hmm.
when Boston won. Thank you very much. But it was the toilet bowl,
The
I
toilet bowl.
believe.
That's right. That's right.
I think though, in the current state of teams, if Vancouver goes up against Justice, some people maybe this is a hot take. I'm taking the Titans in that matchup because I believe more in Shockwave and Dalton to handle Stitch and Tuba.
Yeah.
If that's the matchup to watch, 9 times out of 10 I'm taking Dalton and Shockwave.
Yeah. Vancouver has the pieces to win games, whereas Washington doesn't really know what their pieces can do yet.
Yeah.
So it would be an interesting game to see. But those were the games that we thought were pretty interesting from the next week coming up. Do you have any predictions for Toronto's big game coming up this weekend? The Atlanta Reign game that we got.
Hmm. I think I'm just going to swing for the fences here, Patrick. I think I'm just going to go for it. 3-1 Toronto.
3-1. Yeah, yeah.
I'm giving it. I'm going for it. I want to say 3-0, but with Toronto, there's always the but the size of you know who. And
Yes.
so we talked about it enough, so we can just chill. People know how much we love a certain individual.
You said you weren't going to talk about it, then start
I
talking
I
about
just
it.
want to like dance around it,
Yeah,
and so
yeah,
people can kind of like flirt with the idea of what I'm talking about, but
yeah.
like I don't have to say it.
Of course.
I hope to not.
Mum's the word.
He's a bit of an outlaw, but uh yeah. So I think Toronto, if they continue this again, yes, the Titans is a lower team than Atlanta, and Atlanta has some pieces that to do better than Titans. I just feel more comfortable, weirdly enough, choosing a Numlot Cruise Toronto over the current Atlanta situation because I
Mm-hmm.
think the pieces on Toronto are equal and better in some cases than Atlanta,
Yeah. Well, this game will
or have the
be
potential to be.
yeah, this game will be a barn burner. I mean, we've got a lot to prove. Toronto has a lot to prove. Atlanta is trying to show that they're better than the teams that they're losing to. Like that
Mm-hmm.
Gladiators loss, it was I felt it. Like I felt it, and I don't even cheer for Atlanta Reign. So, I mean, it'll be a really really intense game, and if we win that game, that'll be, I think, I think we'll make it further than where we did in the tournament, the summer tournament
Mm-hmm.
coming up. So
Yeah,
We'll see
it'll
what
be
happens.
interesting to see if they win Atlanta game, the mental boost will be huge. The confidence level will be higher, and I think they could have a bit more legs. Also, it gives them a much higher seeding. So even if they lose against Dallas, if they beat Atlanta, or if they beat Atlanta or Dallas, that's a 2-1 record going into the tournament. So it's going to be interesting to see because that higher seeding can do a lot. Because that means
Yeah.
they don't have to play to qualify in if they. I don't think they will actually, because if they've already won a game, if certain teams go 0-3, that means those are the qualifiers,
They
and
have to
Toronto would
play.
have the edge.
Yeah. Well,
So I
we have
think,
to wait and see if anyone's going to go 3-0 or if it's going to be a 3 or
mhm.
like whatever tie. If we lose both games and only one other team has won one, then those are going to be the guys who are going to play for the qualifier. So
We gotta get it. We're gonna
we got
go
to get
in
it. We got to go get it.
Toronto man style.
It's going to be
I don't
great.
know the voice well.
It's going to be great. Well, I'll be watching that. That'll be this coming week. I believe it's on Saturday, the 20th.
I think so. I'll
Yeah,
do a quick little look see here.
I think so.
But the Toronto game is the 20th at 5 p.m. EST for us.
Yeah, just look it up.
Yeah, you know where it is. It's on your app.
You know
I
it.
don't need
You
to.
know
I
it's
don't need to
coming.
explain time zones to you.
Yeah, it's
I
coming
don't
up.
understand them well. Someone says, "Oh, this time." Do a quick
Uh-huh.
Google search.
And what is that in ounces?
Do you know that in um, Ontario time?
Is that how many loonies is that?
Mom, what time zone are we in? I know my postal code, but I sometimes have to Google time zone.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
But it's gonna be the Toronto Defiant have an interesting road ahead. They have
It
challenges ahead, but if they can overcome them, it will look very good.
it'll look very very good. I'm just hoping we win one of the games. If we beat Atlanta, that would be like mwah, the best,
Oh,
the best, the best. It would be the best if we 3-0'd Atlanta. That would be a great day for me. But we'll just have to wait and see, and
it's true.
that brings us to the end of this podcast episode. Hope you enjoyed it. If you
We hope the
have,
fans have enjoyed our rambling shenanigans about such a wide. We cover a lot on this show, and we hope people enjoy our random rants and ramblings and love of all things
it's all about the
games.
games, man, and
All
it's
about
all
the game.
about the people that play them. That's all we're
Damn
about.
right.
But
We're
yeah,
about games, my guy.
exactly. So if you would like to email us your questions or comments, or you want to come on the podcast, why don't you email us at gamesmyguypodcast@gmail.com. We also are on Twitter, which is curated by the lovely, the ever-talented Ethan Butler, which is
We are
at
up to 37 followers,
the
and
big
we'd like to climb more. So if you're looking for a random Twitter account to follow, choose us.
choose us, Games My Guy. We are
We're
at
great.
Games My Guy. Maybe we'll do a 40 subscribers special podcast.
It'll be
That
great. We're gonna drink champagne, wear tank tops,
yeah.
and we'll just look like a bunch of doofuses.
Perfect.
Actually, if we can get to 40, we'll do something stupid.
We'll do something. We'll do something. It'll be like a
Yeah,
video
maybe
or
not stupid.
something.
Yeah.
But yeah, so go over there, give us a look. And we also do post these episodes on YouTube if you're interested in actually watching the podcast rather than listening to it on Spotify or Podbean. But that is everything. Thank you so much for listening, and we will catch you next week.
Toodles.